Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to give you guys the rookie minicamp day number 2 recap. If you guys missed my video last night, I broke down day number 1 of rookie minicamp, so make sure you guys check that video out before you watch this video, because yesterday, we heard from Sauce Gardner, Jeremy Ruckert, Michael Clemens, and Breece Hall, and we broke down what they had to say. And then today, we're going to hear from the other rookies who did not get to speak in the press conference yesterday, that being Garrett WIlson, Max Mitchell, and Jermaine Johnson. We're also going to talk about what Robert Saleh had to say about Carl Lawson and Zach Wilson, and some update on the undrafted free agents, because as we all know, rookie minicamp right now is not all about the top rookies that we drafted doing anything in rookie minicamp, because they're holding it back to prevent them from injury. What the rookie minicamp is all about is basically for all the undrafted free agents that the Jets brought in for tryouts, to see if there's 1 or 2 guys that stick out that will make the 90-man roster to go into OTAs and training camp. So I'm super excited to break down this video. Before we hop into day number 2 of rookie minicamp, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I really do appreciate all the support here on Jets Media. And if you want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at NYJets_media. And if you want to like the video, if you guys enjoy, I would greatly appreciate that. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. So first, let's talk about what Robert Saleh had to say. To start it off, he had a really awesome quote about Zach Wilson, saying that he got a little beefy. If you guys want to see my entire video, I broke down Zach Wilson and his transformation in terms of his body, him adding muscle. I made that video earlier this morning, so make sure you guys check that video. I'm not going to go too in detail about what Zach Wilson is doing in terms of his body transformation, going into the OTAs, looking like a different person in terms of physical body. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts about Zach Wilson and what to expect from him in year number 2, I'll leave that link down below in the description, so make sure you guys check that out. But Robert Saleh did mention Carl Lawson. He was asked about what is the update on him, what is he looking like, is he going to be ready to go? And Robert Saleh said that Lawson is sprinting, doing everything. He's pretty much ready to roll. He's going to ease his way in as well. But at the same time, Robert Saleh did say he is a monster when it comes to attacking his rehab. And I'm really excited to see what Carl Lawson can do, because a lot of us Jets fans pretty much forget about what Carl Lawson is going to be doing to this Jets team if he's healthy, because we never got to see him play as a New York Jet when games mattered the most. Last year during training camp, Carl Lawson was the talk of training camp. He was dominating every single joint practice he went to. He was getting to the quarterback. He was just the buzz of training camp last year for the New York Jets, and obviously the devastating injury happened. So if Carl Lawson can come back and have a really good, healthy training camp, and he's healthy and ready to go for this season with this entire Jets defensive line rotation that we're going to have, this Jets defense is going to be way better just with Carl Lawson being healthy. Another thing that I noticed about what Robert Saleh had to say about Carl Lawson, which I absolutely love, is Lawson will take a leadership role with developing Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens and all the young players. If you guys did not know, Carl Lawson was actually watching film on all of the draft picks that the New York Jets were looking at. So he's familiar with Jermaine Johnson. He's familiar with Michael Clemens, and I'm really excited to see what happens. Actually, Jermaine Johnson, when he spoke to the media, which we'll break down later on the video, he actually said that he spoke to Carl Lawson, and Carl Lawson said to him that he's excited to get to work and he's always available. So Carl Lawson is going to take on the leadership role and really put Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens underneath his wing to help him develop. I absolutely love that, and Robert Saleh is excited, I'm sure, to get his guy Carl Lawson back, who's a big-time free agent acquisition for the New York Jets last year. And speaking of Michael Clemens, Robert Saleh was asked about Michael Clemens, and he said, quote, "When he puts on the helmet, he goes to a very dark place." Now, we broke down Michael Clemens in day number 1 of that video yesterday on the channel, so we're not going to go in detail of Michael Clemens, but I do have to say, if you guys remember what I had to say about him, he has this kind of like a double life. You know, when he's off the field, he's that all about business, goofy, lighthearted attitude, personality. But when he gets on the field, he's a completely different animal. He puts on that helmet, he looks scary, and Robert Saleh makes it, you know, even more of that, because he says he goes to a very dark place when he gets that helmet on. I absolutely love that, because he just screams like a Robert Saleh style defensive end, and I'm really excited to see what Michael Clemens can do in this system, not only year number 1, but years down the line, developing for the long term. And yeah, that's what Robert Saleh had to say. Another thing that he did mention is there's like 4 or 5 guys that are standing out to him in tryouts for the undrafted free agents. He did not mention those names, so we do not know the players he's talking about, but it is cool to see that there are players at rookie minicamp, you know, catching the eyes of Robert Saleh and the Jets front office to see who's going to be making the 90-man roster, who's going to be getting signed to the New York Jets team. Now, let's get into some of the press conferences, starting off with wide receiver Garrett WIlson. We heard from him for the first time at rookie minicamp. I really absolutely love Garrett WIlson. I mean, everything about him his demeanor, his personality, the way he goes about his work. You can just tell that he loves the game of football, which is pretty much, you can say, about every single draft pick that the Jets got in this year's draft class and last year's draft class. A very common denominator that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh tried to get in all their players they're bringing in as a New York Jet. But something that Robert Saleh actually said about Garrett Wilson that I thought was really cool is that they asked Robert Saleh a question of, your wide receivers, they're really talented, but the one thing that they noticed is that they're not that big. They lack the size. They don't have that traditional 6'4" number one receiver. It's Elijah Moore, who's under 6 foot. Now Garrett Wilson, 6 foot. They're not the tallest guys. So they asked Robert Saleh about that, like, when it comes to the size, and Robert Saleh said wide receivers come in all shapes and sizes, and some wide receivers that are big, they play small. Some wide receivers that are small, they play big. And he said that Garrett Wilson's one of those players that's small, but he plays big. He can go up there and make the contested grabs. His catch radius is ridiculous. His athleticism is great. And just because we do not have that 6'3", 6'4" guy who is kind of Denzel Mims, low key, it doesn't matter. The size is not what matters. It's all about athleticism and speed and hands and route running and taking over the offense in terms of, understanding the plays. So I love that quote from Robert Saleh speaking about Garrett Wilson. And the question that they asked Garrett Wilson that I absolutely love was, can you have a Jamar Chase level rookie season? Because they asked him, like, you see all these rookies right out of the gate absolutely take their games to another level immediately. And he said, quote, yeah, I am very confident. I think I can have that type of impact in my rookie season. So Garrett Wilson does hold himself in a high standard where he feels like he can have a breakout season right away. Now, we should not expect him to have a Jamar Chase level season. That's just unrealistic. That does not happen every single season. What Jamar Chase did last year was historic. So I'm expecting Garrett Wilson to be a guy that is, an immediate impactful player right away, where he kind of feels like he's a veteran and not having those, rookie mistakes every single week. I do expect him to have some rookie blunders where he has a drop, or he runs the wrong route, or he gets blown up in a block, or he has a false start, or he has an offensive pass interference. Like, those are going to happen. But the big thing you want to watch about not only Garrett Wilson, but all these rookies is, can he learn from his mistakes as the season goes on? And I have all the confidence in the world in Garrett Wilson to do that. Now, moving on to the trenches, we heard from Max Mitchell, the offensive tackle the New York Jets drafted in the 4th round. Now, he's really interesting. I'm really excited to see what he does with the New York Jets for the foreseeable future. He's going to be that swing tackle, but not only can he play tackle, he mentioned that he has experience at playing guard. So he has all the versatility that Joe Douglas looks for in his offensive lineman. He also mentioned that he gained 15 pounds, and now he's up to 315 pounds, and that was a huge goal of his. So Robert Saleh also mentioned when talking about Max Mitchell that he's a raw piece of clay, that he basically has all the fundamentals. He has the hands, he has the athleticism, but the one thing he wants to see Max Mitchell improve on is gaining weight, gaining more muscle, and just building into his body and growing into his body. And Max Mitchell, talks about him adding 15 pounds of muscle, which is great, and is going to continue to do that when he ramps up his conditioning and puts on more weight. I'm excited to see that. He also mentioned he is comfortable at both right tackle and left tackle, and he got asked what his preference is, either left or right, and he said, I don't have a preference. I'm comfortable on both sides. And that's what you want to hear from a young offensive lineman who's going into, his rookie season with a team that is depending on his versatility. You never know if Max Mitchell's going to be plugged in at left tackle or right tackle, even left guard or right guard. He did say he's not really going to be a center. He did take some snaps, but the Jets never really came up to him asking him to be a center. So expect Max Mitchell to be the versatile Swiss Army knife that Mike LaFleur utilizes on this Jets offensive line throughout his rookie season and beyond, in case one of those guys unfortunately goes down with an injury. Absolutely love the versatility he brings to the New York Jets. And then we also heard from Jermaine Johnson, the 1st round edge rusher for the New York Jets. Absolutely love everything I heard from Jermaine Johnson. He got asked a question about what makes you so good at playing the run, and he said, quote, you have to earn the right to rush the passer. Now, this quote's pretty awesome because this basically means that he's not going to be in there on passing downs if he doesn't prove to the coaching staff that he can do both. So he has to prove to the coaches and himself that he can be a dominant player, not only rushing the passer, but being able to stop the run. So he could be a 3-down pass rusher and a 3-down guy on the defense. And I'm not expecting him to play all the reps because this defensive line, this scheme that Saleh runs, is a big, heavy rotation. But I absolutely love that quote from Jermaine Johnson. And another thing that I took away from his press conference, somebody asked him what goes into being able to set the edge successfully in the NFL. He said, the mindset. the violence. I absolutely love that answer. He said the word violence a bunch of times in his press conference, and we know that is what Robert Saleh wants from his defensive ends, wants from his every single player in his defense, to be honest, is violence. You see it when you watch Michael Clemens' tape. You see it when you see Jermaine Johnson's tape, and violence is a thing that I am excited to see just go crazy in the Robert Saleh defense this year. He also seems like a very team-first player, which is really what you want to see. You don't want a me guy. You don't want a guy that's all about me. He is all about putting a team first. He got asked about, personal individual goals. He said, you know what, I always learned that if I put the team first and I'm focusing on my teammates and I'm focusing on the team success, the individual stuff will happen on its own in the background. That's what you want from a first round rookie that we invested trading up to get at pick number 26. He also mentioned, which I touched on earlier in the video, that he went up to Carl Lawson, and Carl Lawson said he's excited to get to work with him and he's always available. So Jermaine Johnson's going to have that veteran leadership to help him with any questions he might have on the system, on the scheme, on defenses, on how to read offenses, how to just be a man in the NFL. So Carl Lawson will fill that role, and I'm really excited about that. And to finish off the video, let's talk about some undrafted free agents that apparently has been looking pretty good at rookie minicamp. According to DJ of NY Daily News, you guys know him on Twitter, and of course he's been on the channel a bunch of times. Wide receiver Irvin Charles from Indiana, PA, has been flashing. He's 6'4", 219 pounds, and DJ says he's smooth routes and he's fast, and he definitely looks extremely impressive. So you never know, this man could be a player that makes the roster and could be a practice squad guy. There's a lot of undrafted free agent wide receivers that Jets have brought in on previous drafts. Lawrence Cager was a guy from 2 years ago. He's been playing in real NFL games with the New York Jets. Could Irvin Charles be the next Lawrence Cager? We don't know. But I feel like if Charles is really stepping up and he's going to be a player that's going to be throughout training camp, you never know. This wide receiver position is pretty deep when it comes to the 1 through 5. But outside of that, there's guys like Tariq Black, Jeff Smith, Montgomery. Irvin Charles can be a guy that really is competing for that role. And another wide receiver that's not signed as an undrafted free agent, but he's trying out to make the team that is flashing, is wide receiver Calvin Jackson from Washington State. He is really impressing DJ. He tweeted out that Calvin Jackson is a player that really stood out to him. So keep an eye on Calvin Jackson potentially making the roster or not after these rookie tryouts are all wrapped up. So that's my thoughts of day number 2 of rookie minicamp. We heard from Garrett WIlson, Max Mitchell, Jermaine Johnson, and Robert Saleh. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down below in the comments if you're enjoying these breakdowns of all the rookie minicamps. I'm excited to give you guys continuous New York Jets content all throughout the rest of the offseason. So please, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. And if you did not already as well, do not forget to smash that thumbs up button, because that helps out the video a lot. It gets this video out to all Jets fans across the world, and I really do appreciate that. Also, comment down below your thoughts of the video, your thoughts of what these players had to say and what Robert Saleh had to say and what you're most excited about from this rookie class. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below in the comments. That does it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in my next. Let's go Jets. Peace.